This is an example of an employee completing a competency review in the PerformanceObjects system. To begin, an employee will receive an email asking them to log into the PerformanceObjects system. Once they arrive in their workspace, they'll see that there is a task waiting for them. This task is asking Chris to participate in his competency review. A competency review is a series of indicators or job-specific competencies that the employee is being asked to rate themselves on in regards to their specific role. The employee simply needs to click on this link in order to begin the review. What you see here is several different groups of questions that the employee is being asked to rate themselves on a scale of unsatisfactory to exceeds. Once again, the PerformanceObjects system has the ability to do two things. We can simply take your current paper process and add it as is into our system, or we can work with you to develop, enhance, or add some things to your current paper process that you may be looking to do. So in the case of this demonstration, Chris the employee will come in and look at each of these job competencies and rate himself using the radio buttons. As you can see, when an employee makes a selection, it turns yellow, making it really easy for the employee to see which questions they have already answered. There's also feedback comment boxes where the employee can write some comments. And these boxes are enabled with spell check functionality and have no caricature limit, so employees can write as little or as much as they need. So the employee can simply go through making selections using the radio buttons for each of the specific categories that are in this competency review. The employee has the ability to hit the Save button, which is located at the top of the screen and at the bottom of the screen, and can come back and complete the different portions of the review at a later date. This allows the employee to maybe go spend some time to reflect on the answers that they've added and come back in at a later date to complete it. So once the employee continues to go through the review, what this will do is fill out the entire form. You also have the ability to add some general questions that you might want to ask of an employee at the bottom. Once again, we can add as few or as many questions as you need. So once again, the employee would add text there. Now the employee has two choices. They can save and share later, which means they can think about what they've done and come back and share it with their supervisor later, or they can go ahead and submit their answers. By submitting their answers, what this will do is send their review to their direct supervisor, which is located at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Wade Billings, as his supervisor, will now receive the same opportunity to complete the competency review with the same questions on his employee. A pop-up box appears asking you if you're sure, and then a confirmation is shown letting you know that in fact your feedback is forwarded to your supervisor for review. The second portion of this review comes from the manager's side. So the manager will receive an email asking them to log into the system, and they'll see in their workspace that they have a task waiting for them, asking them to review one of their employees. Once again, the manager simply needs to click on Chris's link, and this will now open the exact same competencies that Chris rated himself on, and now the manager has an opportunity to rate their employee using the same indicators and the same measurement criteria. Once again, the manager can make his selections and provide comments in the comments boxes where he feels it's needed. The manager also has the ability to save and share later, allowing him to log back into the system at a future date, or he can go ahead and complete the review all in one sitting. Once the manager has completed the entire review, he will have a couple of options for him. We'll just finish answering these. The yellow highlighted makes it really easy on the eyes for both the manager and the employee to see what they have left. Down at the bottom, the manager now has some feedback questions asking him to spend some time thinking about his specific employee. We will just put in some general text here. And now he can save and share later, or if he wants to continue through this process, he can come back up to the screen and come to the Overall Ratings and Comments tab. What you'll see now is that a final score has been generated. So in fact, it has pulled the results that the supervisor provided and given a final numeric and word rating. Again, as an organization, you can choose to have no final score, you can choose to have simply numeric or simply alpha. Now the manager has two options. They can share with their employee, which means that perhaps they want to get some additional feedback from the employee before closing the review, or they can go ahead and complete this review. As you can see, the final report shows you an individual breakdown from both the employee side and the supervisor's side on ratings, as well as the specific result by indicator. This gives a really nice clear picture, and this is the actual sheet that a manager can print off using the print button and use in the sit-down one-on-one conversation that a manager and employee will have together. When that is complete, the manager can come in and hit the complete button, and what this does is close off this review and completes it for that fiscal year. This is a nice pop-up reminder box that, in fact, as a manager, I have forgotten to provide my final comments. So we do have some checks and balances in place that make sure that managers and employees do all of the sections required. And now I can probably hit the complete button. And yes, I can. And a manager has now completed the review. As you can see, this is a really efficient system that goes back and forth between the employee and the manager, allowing them both to provide their feedback.